This is Byron Gordon for the SES Conference Channel. It is day 3. We're at SES San Francisco and Connected Marketing Week, where we are taking time out to talk to some of the speakers of the 140 Characters Forum. And right now we're speaking with Dean Macbeth of wieden+kennedy. Dean, you just talked about the amazing success story of Old Spice and how the whole video campaign went viral. And I thought that maybe you could share a little bit with our audience some of the key points you talked about in your condensed presentation. We'll probably condense it here a little bit more. But first of all, a little bit, you emphasized the story aspect. That's always more important first than the platform. Could you say a little bit something about the creative that went into this and sort of how that, the genesis behind that, and sort of what the creative writers were thinking about in coming up with this type of ad?
Well, I think the important thing to note is that, you know, we had measured the sentiment of the character, you know, the man your man can smell like, Isaiah Mustafa playing him over the course of that entire campaign. And so when it came down to what is the big idea for what we're going to do to thank all of our fans, our interactive global creative director, his name's Ian Tate, he came up to us, and he's from the UK, and he said, "Who's that bloke that everybody loves?" And we said, "Oh, you mean our Isaiah Mustafa?" And he said, "Yeah, why don't you just have him thank everybody on YouTube?" And we thought about it, and we said, why don't we have him thank everybody everywhere? So I think that was the kind of the genesis of what the Responses campaign, where the Responses campaign came from. And then the writers behind that were just completely, obviously, pumped about that idea. So they wanted to make things as authentic as possible, and so none of the tools that we used were really custom except for the platform that we developed on the back end. So it was all existing tools and users in their current behavior.
Okay, so you have the ad, and then next is implementation and execution, and you talked about the platform NORAD. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. There's not a whole lot I can share in terms of the actual architecture, but essentially it allowed us to pull in comments from all of our branded channels. We were monitoring using a variety of other tools at the same time, monitoring our story as it went along, but as those comments came through, we could pull them literally right against the comment and then put them through the teleprompter all through this platform. So it moved our shoot queue along, and it allowed us to do the Q&A and edit and upload into YouTube. And then I was the final element, posting all of those, all of the stories to Twitter.
Okay, now you mentioned something important when you were going to use YouTube as one of the platforms to get the ad across. You fed it to some key influencers. Can you say a little something about that?
Sure, and so all of the gifts that we handed out, and those were handed out on the first real-time day, which is Tuesday. So Monday we spent shooting for people that had an existing narrative with a brand. So whether they had sent a tweet to Old Spice, they had mentioned Old Spice in some way, or they had written an article, a blog post, done a TV spot, or some sort of narrative. Those were the folks that we chose. And it was based on, you know, relationship and obviously clout and some of their influence and whether or not they had existing handles and online channels.
Okay, and then you mentioned that, how did you use Twitter?
So Twitter was our main storytelling platform. So we wanted one spot where everyone could follow the entire story as it went along. And the easiest place to do that was to broadcast each response on Twitter. So as somebody sat there and what we call in awesome time state, so that, you know, spending their entire day watching on the 186 response videos come through, they could do that on the Twitter platform.
Okay, so how do we judge the success of this campaign? You mentioned some stats. Maybe you could share with us some of those.
Sure. With over 1.5 billion PR impressions over the course of the campaign and growing, becoming the #1 branded YouTube channel, and also just the sheer number of views we've had on YouTube, so over 130 million to date. Those are all just the digital metrics that go into it. But the real telling story is sales. And so over the last 3 months, in the body wash category, Old Spice has climbed 55% year over year, and as of last month, 107% as compared to last month last year.
And finally, the 5 important lessons. Can you quickly summarize those for people who want to, if they have any chance or hope of duplicating this incredible advertising effort?
So sure, I think the major important thing is to make sure it's fully integrated. social media is just one channel in that whole campaign. And so, the course of the Man Your Man Could Smell Like is really a 6-month course starting in February. And by TV, by print, by media placements, by PR releases, all of those things led to us being able to execute digitally and in the social media channel. So that's really kind of the meta point. I guess the secondary point out of all of it is really to make sure that your whole team is on the same page. And so the PR people, the external relations people, your brand, the legal, the community manager, your creatives, everyone working together to run this campaign. That's how it came to life, and I think that's really the magic behind it.
Thanks so much for chatting with us, Dean.
Thank you.
And there's more to come from Connected Marketing Week. It's day 3 here at SES San Francisco. Stay tuned for more.